If Pyros and Crips all got along, they probably got me down by the end of the song. Seem like the whole city go against me. Every time I'm in the street, I hear drop, 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 drop.
Okay, first game we're gonna talk about is because there are 4 games coming up in the divisional round. I usually don't like to make wild card predictions because them shits are way too fucking unpredictable, and most of those shits are just about who plays better. Because usually when you're a wild card team, that usually means that like you and the other guy are not too far apart. So I didn't want to make wild card predictions because those shits are way too unpredictable. But I think once you get to like the divisional round, then you can start making analysis on like why this guy should win. Why when it comes to wild card, those shits are just way too fucking random to predict. So yeah, basically what I got going on is I think okay, this all depends on the Buccaneers O-line, because I heard that there's like a lot of injuries that are happening on their O-line. Like Tristan Wirfs, I heard he's out. I heard Marpet is out. I heard Jensen is out. Now I don't know if that's gonna continue. There is a chance that some of those guys come back. Like I don't know if Marpet is gonna come back. I don't know if Jensen is gonna come back. I don't know if Wirfs is gonna come back. But there is a chance 1 or 2 of those guys are going to come back. So that might affect my prediction. So this is what I'll say. I'll say if those guys don't come back, my prediction is probably 34-17. So the Rams win 34. The Rams win 34-17. And then, if, let's say all those fucking guys come back. For some reason, I still think that the Rams are going to pull it out. Because here's the thing. The Rams defense has always played well against Tom Brady. Like the Rams and the Saints are 2 teams whose defenses have always played well against Tom Brady. The only thing that has fucked those 2 teams over has been their offenses. Their offenses have been inconsistent. Jared Goff was inconsistent. Drew Brees literally had a broken rib. You know what I mean? So there was something inconsistent about those offenses that fucked them over. But their defenses always held down Tom Brady. Now the Saints are not in the playoffs, so we can't really mention them anymore. But the Rams don't have Jared Goff. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even gonna say they have Matthew Stafford, because I really am not that impressed by Matthew Stafford, bro. Everyone tries to compare this dude to fucking Aaron Rodgers. This dude is way closer to fucking Kirk Cousins than he is to Matthew Stafford. People gotta stop disrespecting Kirk Cousins, bro. Kirk Cousins dragged that shit show in Washington from like to the playoffs for many fucking years. He put up with that shit show in Washington. He got the Vikings of all teams, the Minnesota Vikings. He got them a playoff win. Now I know he didn't send them to the NFC Championship game like most wanted, but guess what? You know why they made the NFC Championship game that year? Because the Bears were trash that year. The Packers were injured that year, and the Lions were the Lions. That's the only reason they made it that far. If it wasn't for that, they'd probably be like 2nd or 3rd in the division, like they usually are. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say I think if the Buccaneers O-line is not healthy, I will say 34-17. I'll say they lose 34-17. Now, if the Buccaneers O-line is healthy, I would still say they lose would still say they lose 27 to 24. I still think the Rams have their number, and the fact that Matthew Stafford is not Tom Brady. But another thing I gotta mention about Matthew Stafford, like, people overrate this guy way too fucking much, bro. Way too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, he's more comparable to Kirk Cousins than he is. He's way more comparable to Kirk Cousins than he is to fucking Aaron Rodgers. Like, people really try to put this guy and Aaron Rodgers in the same conversation. It's not even close, man. I know he has arm talent, but overall, he's just not it, man. He's just not it. And there's been so many games this year where he's proven to you that he's not it. You know, he has these games where he gets hot, but he just, like, most of his yards come in garbage time. You know what I mean? Like, when you're in the Lions, most of the yards come in garbage time. He's still doing that shit now. Like, even when, I think that one game they were losing to the 49ers by, like, 20 or 30 points, and, like, he put up a couple garbage time touchdowns to make his stats look better. But I don't get it when people say that he's never had help. Didn't this dude have a prime Ndamukong Suh on defense? Didn't this dude have Calvin Johnson for his entire career? Didn't this dude have Golden Tate, like in his prime? I'm talking about Legion of Boom, you know, catch balls over everybody, burn everyone down the field, that type of Golden Tate. And he had Kenny Galladay. He had Marvin Jones. Even Danny Amendola was getting busy. You know, Danny Amendola was still good for a few years on the Lions. He had TJ Hawkinson, who's a beast. He had DeAndre Swift. I know he only had DeAndre Swift for a year, but he still had DeAndre Swift. So he had all these guys, and people are really trying to tell me, oh, he never had any help. So I don't want to hear that shit, man. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, at this point, the past is the past. You know what I mean? I still think he's overrated, but I think he could at least beat Brady. He's not beating Aaron Rodgers. Even if he wins this game, he's not fucking beating Aaron Rodgers. That's just not happening. It's not happening. People think that. People always thought, oh yeah, if you put Matthew Stafford on a good team like Aaron Rodgers is, he might beat Aaron Rodgers. No, he's just not on the same. They're not on the same level, bro. They really aren't. Matthew Stafford has a big arm, but he does not have the IQ of Aaron Rodgers. He does not have the football IQ of Aaron Rodgers. He does not have the accuracy of Aaron Rodgers. This dude turns the ball over. Guess what Aaron Rodgers never does? Never gets picks. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear that shit. So this is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen, plain and simple. If Tom Brady's if Tom Brady's O-line is not healthy, they lose 34-17. If the O-line is healthy, they lose 27-24. So it's gonna be a closer game, but I think in the end, I don't know. This just doesn't seem like the Buccaneers year, bro. Originally, I remember I said like the whole Patriots Buccaneers prediction, but that's already fucked up because the Patriots are already out. You know what I mean? The Buccaneers, they lost Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown just like had a meltdown. You know, I could get into that, but I feel like it's a little bit too late. Now their O-line's banged up. Leonard Fournette, they didn't activate him off of IR yet. So there's a lot of even if everyone does come back, they're just coming back. You know what I mean? These are guys that are just coming back. We don't know if they're gonna be 100%. We don't know if they're gonna be able to play to their fullest capability. Because usually when guys first come back, they're usually a little bit rusty. Some guys are an exception, but most of the time, when you have that many guys coming back, they're gonna be rusty. Especially if they never had a bye week. Like, for example, the Packers, at least they have a bye week to fucking prepare for all this shit. They have a bye week to prepare for all this shit. Some of these other guys do not have a bye week. They just have to keep playing and playing and playing. The Buccaneers don't have a bye week, so... You know, it was fun while it lasted. But, like I said, it's over. Brady. Better luck next year. Probably not even have luck next year, because... I think... Did I talk about this? I don't know if I talked about it in this video, but I talked about how I think Brady's gonna retire after next year. Not this year. I think after next year's over, because he signed like a 2-year extension. Like once his contract was up, like, cause he originally signed a 2-year contract, but then I think he signed another 1-year extension to that 2-year contract. So now this shit goes to 2023. So so my prediction was always he's gonna try to go back to the Super Bowl this year. Then if he can't go back to the Super Bowl this year, then he's gonna play 1 more year, and then depending on how that year goes, he'd probably retire. Because a lot of these guys are old as shit, man. Then Ndamukong Suh is old as shit. You know, Levante David is not the youngest guy in the world. You know what I mean? Richard Sherman, they just got him, you know what I mean? And then Rob Gronkowski, I don't know how much longer he has. Chris Godwin, they're probably not going to re-sign him. They don't have Antonio Brown anymore. You know, Bruce Arians might be about to retire. So, if you really think about it, like, does Tom Brady really want to... Because if you... Taking all these things into account, it feels like the Buccaneers might be going into a rebuild soon. So, I understand that Tom Brady wants to play, but does this dude really want to sit through a rebuild? You know what I mean? Now, I get that he could probably go take his talents elsewhere, but at his age, you know, he already made a bold enough move to move from the place he called home for 20 years in the Patriots to go to Tampa Bay. Does he want to move again after he just moved to Florida, after he just got comfortable in Florida? Does he want to move again? I mean, maybe he could sign with the Dolphins. I don't know. You know what I mean? Since that's like close by. But other than that, like, I don't know, man. I think after next season, I think Tom Brady will retire. But for right now, he's losing the Rams, bro. The Rams got his number. Okay, all of this is contingent on the fact. All this is contingent on Matthew Stafford just not being trash. You know, just not choking. This dude doesn't have to be great. He does not have to be great. He does not have to carry the team like he did like he quote-unquote carried the team in Detroit. He does not have to do that. He just has to not choke. He just has to not pull a 49ers. Because every time this man goes against the 49ers, he gets his ass whooped. So just do what you didn't do against the 49ers. Actually, no. Don't do what you did against the 49ers, and you're gonna win this game. You know what I mean? Because everyone was making fun of Mahomes. Everyone was clowning Mahomes last year for losing in the Super Bowl because like his O-line was all banged up, you know, and this dude was like running around for his fucking life. And this is Mahomes we're talking about. Mahomes is still young. He's not the most mobile guy in the world, but he can move a little bit. Imagine Tom Brady in that fucking situation. Now if it's true that guys like Marpet, Jensen, and Wirfs won't be able to go, the Buccaneers are fucked. Like Mahomes can actually move, and you saw how much he struggled. Imagine what Tom Brady would do, bro. This man at fucking 44 can't move. He's never been able to move when he was 24. Imagine how he's gonna be when he's 44. This dude's fucked, bro. If these 3 guys can't go, it's done. He might score. It might even be 34-7. Fuck it. It could be 34. I'm gonna be nice, and just because he's Tom Brady, I'll say 34-17. But if all 3 of those guys cannot go, if all 3 of those guys are out for the game, it's very possible he's losing 34-7. The reason I say 17 is because I do have somewhat of respect for him. There's like not that much, because he's still a cheater. This man still cheated his way into 3 Super Bowls. You know, he lucked his way into the Seattle Super Bowl. He lucked his way into the Atlanta Super Bowl because they literally just choked like the biggest lead of all time. You know what I mean? He got carried by Belichick. So really, the only Super Bowl that you could really count Tom Brady for winning is last year. Last year is the only Super Bowl I actually give him credit for. But even that, like the Buccaneers, like the entire Chiefs O-line just got decimated. So really, I don't know. I I really don't know how great this guy really is, because not every time he wins, there's a fucking asterisk on his championship. Every time. The first 3, we all know about Spygate. Then he got carried by Bill Belichick in 2018. Then the Falcons blew the biggest lead of all time. You know what I mean? Then Seattle threw a pick on the goal line when they were 1 yard away from winning the Super Bowl. You know, and then Mahomes' entire O-line gets decimated. So this guy, I don't know, man. I don't know. Everyone talks about how great Tom Brady is. Everyone says he's the clutchest quarterback in playoff history. But to that, I say, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? That might be, even that might be capped. You could really make an argument, Eli Manning in the playoffs, not overall, but in the playoffs, you can make an argument that Eli Manning is the clutchest QB in NFL history. You saw what he did against the Packers. You know what I mean? When he went to like the 7-degree Green Bay. You saw what he did that year. You saw what he did against the 49ers. You know what I mean? When he went in 2011. You know, you saw what he did to Brady in back-to-back Super Bowls. Even the boat trip year, like 2016, even when he lost that year, that man was still balling out. Like, Odell was dropping everything that man was doing, but that man still showed up. That man always shows up in the playoffs. So Eli Manning, he might be clutcher. Nick Foles, he won the Eagles a Super Bowl 1 year. Then the next year, he was an Alshon Jeffrey drop away from maybe taking them to another Super Bowl. Because that Eagles team against the Rams, they might have won. They might have honestly won. Because, I don't know, Jared Goff did not have, like, the best game in the NFC Championship. So, there's a good chance we could have gotten a rematch. But, I don't know, Alshon Jeffrey decided to not know how to catch. But, yeah, you can really, and then, I would have said Joe Flacco, but the second after he won that Super Bowl, that man just turned into a bitch. Like, Joe Flacco pre-Super Bowl, I could argue he's one of the clutches of all time, but after the Super Bowl, this man just turned into an absolute bitch. So I'm not gonna say Joe Flacco, but you could really admit. So between Eli Manning and Nick Foles, like both these guys fucking own Tom Brady's soul, by the way. You know what I mean? This man even went to Chicago. Like Chicago Bears, the Chicago Bears. And he still beat Tom Brady. Like, this man, Nick Foles, is literally Tom Brady's daddy, bro. He's literally Tom Brady. Him and Eli Manning are like co-daddies. I want to say Peyton Manning is also his father, but I think those two kind of have like a mutual rivalry going on. Like, they kind of went back and forth. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I don't want to take this for too long. I just want to give my final prediction. 27-24 Rams if everyone's healthy on the Bucs side. And then 34-17 if everyone isn't healthy. And with that being said, I'm out.